Hi guys, welcome back to Lewis on Film with me, Lewis. And outside of the Oscars now, I saw a film last week which I needed to review, but I haven't had time until now. And it's called X, directed by Ty West. And I'm so happy that finally one of his films has made it to the cinemas over here in the UK. Because I'm actually a big fan of Ty West, but all of his films I've either seen on DVD or in fact, yeah, I think just DVD, to be honest with you. And his latest film then, it's set in 1979, and it follows a group of filmmakers who set out to make an adult film in rural Texas. And they choose this secluded kind of ranch or farm, as it were, run by an elderly couple, and they don't tell the elderly couple what they're doing, basically. And when the elderly couple find out what's going on, some deep dark secrets are revealed, and things don't go very well for our filmmakers, shall we say. So the thing is, I really, really enjoyed this. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did. The amount of flesh in it surprised me, especially given that, that's actually quite, there's known actors in this. Mia Goth is, of course, a very brave actress anyway. She's done a lot of interesting things. Brittany Snow being the obvious one. Jenna Ortega being, the relative newcomer. She's been around for a while, but she's the relative newcomer. Obviously, she was in Scream. Speaking of Scream, one thing that I said about Scream in my review of it was that it was nice to see a film that ripped to shreds the sort of recent sort of existential horror films, such as Hereditary, The Witch, and the name of it's gone has left me. The other one directed by Ari Aster, I forgot the name of it. I'm sorry. Now, I don't dislike those films, but I do think they are massively overhyped. I think they are not as good as what a lot of people think they are. They're very eerie, very well made, and very interesting takes on horror. And of course, horror can come from all different genre, from different places, as we've discovered over the years. But it's nice to get back to a film which actually genuinely is a tense and exciting slasher film. Scream was not that, but it made some interesting comments. This film, as if to prove Scream's point, is a very good slasher film, and very, very tense, very well directed. The scene with the alligator, just one of the best horror scenes I've seen in a long, long time. Crawl was one of my favourite films of the other year. I don't think it got a bit of attention as close to that as this film does. It's in terms of cinematography as well. Elliot Rocket is the man behind the camera on this one, and he does a superb job of making it aesthetically feel like it was made in the 70s. Like, you could show this to somebody who didn't know who these actors were and say, oh yeah, I believe it was made in the 70s. It wasn't. It was made in 2001. It's very, very well done. Like I say, aesthetically, cinematography, set design, production, sound, it all feels very 70s, and it's such a testament to how good Ty West is at those kind of aesthetic. He did a very similar thing with House of the Devil. You completely believe that it was in that period as well. So, no, exactly like Ty West. Some of Ty West's other films, his films are set sort of over the course of a couple of days, or maybe even one day. It's very, very nice, I must say, to see Martin Henderson back on the big screen, because when I was a teenager, and I was going to the cinema more often than even I do now, he was one of the faces who was in all the films that I would be going to see. So he was one of the up and coming actors, sort of in the early 2000s to mid 2000s. He was in things like, he was in Wind Talkers, he was in The Ring, he was in Talk, Bride and Prejudice. They're not exceptional films by any means, but I remember seeing him when I was younger, and I was like, oh yeah, it's him again. He's in enjoyable films. It's very nice to see him back in something on the big screen again. Although he has been prominently working. Yeah, performances are all great here. Everyone's on form. Kid Cudi turned in a very interesting role, I thought. Maya Goth, again, as I said, she's excellent. She's very brave anyway, and she's excellent. And she does a dual role here, which is very, very hard to spot if you didn't know. I didn't know, and I did spot it, but I was like, I couldn't believe I managed to spot it. I think it's very well written. I think one of Ti West's previous films I criticised for being very overwritten. The film being The Valley of Violence, In the Valley of Violence. For a Western, I was like, this is way too overwritten. It's an enjoyable film, but it's overwritten. He's clearly learned from that. He's taken that knowledge and he's applied it here, and he's not overwritten it. He's given enough exposition without it being too in your face, aping it a bit, and he's really, really gone and done this completely right. And it's a great twist at the end with the televangelist that are on the TV playing throughout. There's a televangelist thing going on. Very nicely twisted way of applying that to the narrative, and I enjoyed it from start to finish completely. My partner saw it with me, and she said it was too scary and too tense. She came away having enjoyed it, but she doesn't want to see anything like that again. It's too tense for her. So bear that in mind when you go and see it. It is a tense horror watch, but it's so enjoyable if you're a horror fan, and I really, really did like it. I thought it was great, and I highly recommend it.